and the people on the internet are ruthless, right? Like they
Of
see a
course.
picture of somebody and they're like, okay, now we have the picture, we can find out who she
it is.
is, what her
Yeah.
name is, where she works, all of her family members, and they will
Yeah.
go after everybody. And it's just ruthless. Like I think it might be a combination of cancel culture and internet bullying that's the problem.
Well, cyberbullying, I mean, in a way, this is kind of cyberbullying, something you do this online to a certain degree because you're trying to pick something. But
I feel like
I mean,
all of cancel culture is online. So it's all like I've never seen anybody who's like on the streets trying to cancel someone else because you just don't have enough reach.
Hey there. Welcome to the Gluten-Free Organic Thoughts podcast, where you are encouraged to express your natural thoughts and views through casual, meaningful conversations that hopefully can lead to learning and understanding new perspectives. To find out more info, visit www.gfothoughts.com. Now, here are your hosts, Michael Wong and Robert Din. We hope you enjoy this episode.
hello, everybody. Welcome back to another great episode of Gluten-Free Organic Thought Podcast. And this is Michael Wong, your co-host, and always with me, Robert Din.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Gluten Free Organic Thoughts, where today we're going to talk about cancel culture.
Oh yeah, and no guest today, but it's just us. But I think this is going to be an interesting topic to discuss. So before we get started, what are you drinking, Robert?
Today I have good old rosé all day.
Rosé all day, going back there. Nice. I started with
Let me
some.
show you. Let me,
Ooh, what is it though? What is this one?
uh,
Can't see it. You got to read it to us.
Cremant de Bourgogne.
Some Frenchie? Is it
From
a Frenchie?
France, yeah.
Okay, nice. Is it tasty at least, or is it very sweet?
I haven't even tasted it yet. We're gonna taste it right now, right on camera.
On camera, taste it. Taste test.
It's actually really good.
Is it refreshing sweet or is it
It's
too
refreshing.
sweet? Okay,
Refreshing.
nice. Well, after this podcast episode, I'm gonna go on a little brewery tour. So I started with some coffee and Kahlua first, just to
You're
ease my
still
way
on
in.
the coffee and Kahlua. That's
Ease my way in, ease
yeah.
my way.
We're 3 months in, and you're still on the coffee and Kahlua.
The coffee and Kahlua way. Mhm.
All
All
right,
right.
let's get into it. So this all came up because of I heard on TikTok people were trying to cancel Eminem, and that's why I
Yes.
wanted to talk about this.
So before we get into it, though, Robert, though, for those who don't know what cancel culture means, can you define that for us?
Oh man, it's hard. I mean, it's hard
Okay,
because
I pull a dictionary, a pop culture dictionary. What cancel culture refers to is like the popular practice to withdraw support a public figure or company that they have said or done to consider objectionable or offensive. That's what cancel culture means, according to this pop culture dictionary.
yeah, that's true. It's just I feel like our society has gotten
Extreme with it.
extreme with it, right? So I understand why we're trying to withdraw support from different people or companies that
Yep.
we don't agree with. It makes sense, but I feel like cancel culture is the extremist version of it, which if you're on either side of any extreme, it's probably not the best.
Well, so it's supposed to be like this modern form of ostracizing somebody's, I guess through the media, through their social media circle or professional circle in a sense, right?
Mhm.
And it is technically related to always to, something that you want to boycott somebody, right? And what you're saying is very extreme. Like, so give me an example where you say an extreme and give me an example that's not extreme. How about that?
Okay, so there's examples where like this is very uh it's like I agree with like we should totally
Yep.
uh I don't know if I want to say cancel because it's such a negative thing, right? But we
Yep.
want to take support away. So someone like Harvey Weinstein or Bill
Yep.
Cosby, where like something they've done is actually really bad and really horrible, right? Like we don't
And for
want
a
to be
long period of
supporting
time. And for a long
and for
period
a
of time.
while, right? We don't want to be
Yeah.
supporting these people.
Yep.
And that's very reasonable, right? Like we see, oh, there's like 20, 30, 40 people coming out saying these things and like everything, like it seems very legit.
Yeah.
And so it seems more realistic that we should be condemning these people.
Of
But then
course.
there's people like in the same time period, like this is all Me Too movement, right? Like
Yeah.
in the same time period, Louis C.K. was also
Yeah.
ostracized for something that seemed very tame. Um, it
Well,
just
compared to like Harvey Weinstein situation, it's
no,
very
just in
tame.
general, like I don't think
That's true.
what he did was bad. Like I don't think what he did. I don't think he did anything wrong, right? So it's just people felt uncomfortable around him for certain things, but he had asked permission. He had okay, so people don't know
So yeah, I was
what
saying that. Give a
happened,
little
right?
background, right? So
Give a little background. Yeah,
yeah.
go
So
ahead.
technically, he's supposedly accused of misconduct with I think 4 or 5 different women, right? Quote unquote, in a sense.
Hmm.
And even I mean, listen, obviously, in a sense, this kind of misconduct tanked his career. I mean, like, but at the end of the day, I don't think
You
I
want to go into what kind of misconduct he was talking like happened
yeah.
to him?
You go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so apparently what he liked to do, like this is his kink, right? Is that
Yep.
he liked to uh touch himself in front of girls. So like in his like dressing room or something, he would like uh start touching himself and like pull out his guy and start
Yep.
doing some stuff, right? But he would always ask permission, like well, I don't know always, but like when you hear the stories, like
Yep.
he asked permission for him to do it, and he would um yeah, so he would ask permission, and if they said no, then he would just not do it, right? Like it's not like he forced anyone to do
Yep.
anything that if they weren't comfortable, like he and they said something, he would totally respect them for it, right?
Correct. Yep.
Which seems like not what the Me Too movement was supposed to be about, or like it seems very like that seems like if that's your kink, like you can ask people like stuff, right? Like that seems
So the issue with that is I feel like because at that time it's a famous comedian, a lot of people are afraid to say no to that, right? In a sense, right? And you're trying to work in the upcoming world, let's say, and that's probably why they. But
yeah, they brought up like
yeah,
the power
yeah,
position that he was in, like the power dynamic.
yeah.
But
But I
like
still like compared to the Bill Cosby situation, it's like
right, like so
I know what you're saying,
there's definitely degrees to it, but
yeah,
also like I don't feel like if I don't know, I feel like you can still say no to your superiors.
and you have your own morals and you have your own standards, you have your own,
Yeah, so like
yeah,
I don't know if like I don't know. I've been working for a long time, and if one of my
yeah.
superiors came up to me and asked me to do something and I didn't think it was right, like I think now being older, I would
Yeah.
be able to say no easier, and
But
maybe
you
that's
maybe younger, yeah,
maybe
it's
younger
different
I
story.
wouldn't be.
Yeah,
So maybe that's what it is.
yeah.
But like I don't know, something like that which is non-work related, I would feel I think in that time I would still say no because I just think it didn't have to do with my work, right? So why would this
Yeah.
be a part of it?
So let me ask you this: give me an example of an extreme cancel culture now.
Extreme cancel culture nowadays.
Yeah, I think what happened with Eminem's an extreme one, I believe.
Yeah, Eminem was uh pretty ridiculous, right? Like
Let's give a
so
little background first.
yeah, backstory about that. Like so what
Yeah.
happened was somebody on TikTok probably like it was definitely some Gen Z or some like someone who hadn't heard Eminem stuff before. We all grew up with Eminem, so we all know the controversial stuff that he has said in the past of his records. But
Yep.
they brought up, they were listening to "Love the Way You Lie" with him and Rihanna,
Yep.
and that song is about domestic abuse. It's about how bad domestic abuse is and how you're trapped in that system and like bringing awareness. And they took apart one of his lyrics where he said something like, "If she doesn't agree, I'm going to tie her up and kill her," or something like that, right? And that was like part of the song. It's like bringing awareness of
What happened exactly happened? Yeah.
of like what the mindset is in this situation. So and then they posted it up and they're like, "Yes, we should cancel him." And then there were all kinds of comments that were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to cancel Eminem,"
Yeah.
which I don't know. Some people are unaffected by cancel culture, but this seemed like such a ridiculous one, right? Like, how can you cancel somebody who the song is basically condemning everything that he's saying in his like in that specific lyric, right? Like that whole song is against it. So how can you cancel someone for bringing awareness to something like domestic abuse? And it's on a song with Rihanna, who went through domestic abuse just like a year or two earlier when that song came out. I just think it was such a that one right there just made me mad that like this is the type of stuff that's
Well, I mean, it blew up. Even CNN picked it up as an article.
right. Like it's crazy. Why would this be something you would want to cancel him over? He said so much worse stuff. Like he has said so much more worse stuff. He's talked about the LGBT community. He's talked about like all these other people, and like he said so much worse stuff. But like that was his niche when he came into the game, right? When he came into the rap industry, his niche was he was gonna call out people and just like say crazy, ridiculous stuff. And mostly in jest. I don't know if it's jest or not, but like in the songs, it sounds like a joke.
Yeah.
Which
sarcastically.
Yeah, most of the time it sounded sarcastic, right? So I don't know.
I mean, Eminem's been around for how long? Forever, like through different decades. So in retaliation, he released a song called Tone Deaf, and it blew up.
Oh man, but in the song he like talks about being canceled and stuff. I think that song was actually came out like he released the song months ago, like not like, and he just released it because it talks exactly about what's going on. It's just so funny.
Like he released it again. That's what happened.
Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, and that blew up. Like, well, I find it's hard to cancel Eminem. Like, I just find it hard, just because that's the people that follow him are like, oh yeah, he's just messing around. Like we all know who Eminem is, and he's been around for so long that we know who this guy is.
And not only that, how he evolved. His music has evolved.
How his music has evolved and everything. It's crazy. There's other people that are like unaffected by cancel culture as well.
Yeah.
Like Donald Trump, where he
doesn't care.
He says all kinds of stuff. Like people bring up his past and like the stuff that he said in the past.
Yeah.
And it just like falls off. Like, oh yeah. It's like, oh, that's just locker room talk. Like stuff like that type of stuff. Like they try to cancel him, but they can't. But then there's other people that it's obviously gonna affect their career if like someone like Louis C.K. who was doing well, and then after that, like his career really took a hit.
Yeah, I remember South Park made an episode about cancel culture, like how like just mocked about everything, and it was pretty funny. Here, let me show you a clip. Because people try to cancel South Park, and I think they just wrote an episode on it. Hang on, let me see.
South Park is an interesting thing. Like it's interesting to like try to cancel like TV shows, especially like the ones that are like
they mock everything.
They just mock everything, right? Like so that their whole point of the show is to be like is to talk about different things and like and make fun of everything, right? So then you're gonna cancel a show that's already mocking everything, like
Play the Jemima one first. It's pretty funny.
The world is upside down. Trippy. Tell them they got it backwards. They got what backwards? Fuck, I want pancakes.
Well, I don't even understand what happened there.
Like the people on the one side history, in a sense, they got everything backward. That's what happened. Yeah.
So what happened is, we should get background on Aunt Jemima. Like that was when did
Oh, that was 2020. Remember? This was 2020. A lot of shit happened in 2020. Year? Yeah.
I thought Aunt Jemima was like way early.
2019 maybe. Hang on. Let me see. When did removal of Aunt Jemima? Hang on. Removal of Aunt Jemima. This happened in.
I think we talked about this on the show before.
Yeah, we did. We talked about this on the show. And last year, I'm pretty sure this was last year.
June. Oh,
June last year, right?
yeah,
8 months ago. Yeah.
June
I'm telling you, in
2020.
2020, because everybody's in COVID, everybody's paying attention more to a lot of stuff, and they became more, maybe perhaps more sensitive, or they were already sensitive. They just now made more aware of it. But do you think overall our current generation and the younger generation are just more sensitive to it?
Are they more sensitive? I definitely think they're more sensitive. I think it's a
Is it because of what we're trying to make more righteous in a sense, or is it because we're trying to push to be righteous?
are we pushing to be more righteous?
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
I think it's something where like it's cool to be
in the right side of history in a sense.
yeah, to be like a what is it called? Like an activist,
Activists.
right? Like to have that mentality of being like better than everyone else and
Yeah,
like having the being on the right side of everything. Like I think that is cool now, right? Like
yeah.
it's cool to go and say, "Oh, this guy's being racist. We need to cancel him," right? Like that type of stuff. Like that's I don't know. It's I feel like that this generation that's part of what keeps them going, right? Is that I think it's also like when they do something like this, other people jump on and are like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you're right," and that gives them validation. So then that just like creates a mentality where like we need to be looking for more and more people to cancel and more people to say are wrong. But it's really a thing where like we're all human, right? Like we do things that are wrong. Sometimes we make mistakes.
We're not perfect at all,
We're
though,
not
for sure.
perfect. So like
Yeah.
how can we
Expect everybody to be
chastise
perfect.
every person for every mistake that they've ever made in their life?
That's true.
And people are going back in like people's Twitter history and Facebook history and all these post histories,
Yeah.
and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we need to cancel them for something they said 10, 20 years ago." Right? Like it's
What I mean,
it's
I think whether it's wrong or right, though, I feel like they just maybe they want to call it out because it's not the right thing, or so do you think that they had too much spare time in their hand?
I don't think this is just a 2020 thing where like we're all home so then we have more. I
Yeah.
think this is getting worse and worse every year, and 2020 was just like a big hitting point because everyone was home. But I think people were doing this before that. Um, Something like
Mm.
Kevin Hart. Remember when Kevin Hart got canceled?
Oh, dude, I remember that.
Like Kevin Hart back in like 10 when he was first starting his career, he put out
Beginning
some
back in 2000. No, not even that. Yeah,
it might be
early 2000.
2000s, right? Like he
Yeah,
put out like he put like he had a few of his shows where he had some like anti-gay stuff on his shows, right? And they were all
yeah,
jokes and stuff.
yeah.
And then someone found a tweet of his from back then where he said if his kid was gay, he would punch him in the throat or something. Like he would hate that or something like that. And people got really upset with that. And then he was up to be like hosting the Grammys or like the something.
I think I think it's no, that's not the Oscar. It's something I know talking about
He
something
was
big though.
hosting. He was like that was his. He says this later in like interviews. He's like, this was my like the biggest goal ever was to host this award show, and he got the opportunity to do it, and then he got like this came out, and everyone was like, no, we can't have him on the show, and so he had to resign from the show, and it's just it's like all of someone's hard work getting up to this one point to bring back one tweet of his or like something he said back in the day, and then that just like ruins like such
I
a
think
special moment.
I also think he got pressure. I think for 2018 for the Oscar hosting the Oscar. That's what it was. Um, I think you're right in a sense. Actually looking at this article. He had to step down from hosting the Oscar in 2019.
That's what it was, the Oscars, right? Like
Yeah.
he says later on like that was
Is
his
that resurfacing past Twitter feeds?
yeah.
Isn't it
It
crazy?
was like 10 years before that. It wasn't something recent that he said.
Yeah.
And in 10 years you change a lot as a person and like your
Yeah.
ideas of stuff change. Um and yeah, you probably shouldn't have said it, but like a lot of things you like post back when the internet first started or when you first get on the internet is a lot of it is to be controversial. Like if you go back to my Facebook feed, which I hope none
Yeah.
of you guys do, because there's a lot of like really bad stuff on there. But like it was all just me being controversial. Like I'm in college, I'm just trying to like
saying shit, whatever.
say shit to get
Attention,
people to
attention,
get
to get
people
likes,
to
get those
yeah.
likes, man.
It's all shock value, right? Like everything I said was to get shock was to
Yeah.
shock people, and it's just I don't know. Like in 10 years, you change, and like you understand like that's
imagine
really,
not just 10 years, in a year you change, man. To be honest with you, from last year to this year, man.
That's
Well,
true.
I believe we all change to a certain degree, man.
Yeah,
And yeah, if you haven't changed, I mean, you haven't done anything.
it's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And like I feel like, but like I feel like our culture also evolves, right? Like as a society, we evolve, and something that was okay back in the 90s is not okay now, right? So
Well, it's the same thing, right? I was, before we were, start talking about this podcast, I feel like it could be a generation thing because our generation could chastise our parents' generation, right? It's in, it's like mocking them. Why would back then, why we were telling only woman belongs to the kitchen type of deal, right? In a sense, like
mhm.
it's a generational thing that there will always be a generation that's going to be chastising the prior generation as well, too, though.
Right, and there will always be stuff to chastise about. There's always gonna be
Yeah.
stuff that
Yeah.
one generation does wrong, right?
But one is I guess the breaking line, the fine line, where it's just like too much cancel culture is bad for you
Mhm.
in a sense that becomes very like insensitive already. You know what I mean? Like
I think when it
it's
starts
very
hurting
useless.
people, like I feel like cancel culture doesn't just it doesn't just like it actually like hurts individuals, and that's wrong. I feel
Yeah.
like you shouldn't put every like yeah, you can reduce your support for certain people or for certain
Yeah.
things. But like we are so immediate on our opinions. So
Yeah.
like as soon as something comes out, we're like, all right, we gotta cancel this guy. And it
Yeah.
may be that we need to take some time to hear everything that happened and to really
To see the bigger picture instead of
Yeah.
just pointing fingers right away. Hey, you did this back 10 years ago.
Yeah, and this is affecting people's careers. Like I understand, like there's, for example, like the Amy Cooper lady in
Oh
New
yeah.
York, where she
Yeah.
was in the park and she like called the cops on a black guy for
Yeah.
I don't know, for no reason, right? She immediately got fired, like immediately.
Yeah.
And I understand, like she did something horrible, but
Yeah.
like that's affecting her life, right? And a lot of these people that that get canceled, that are normal people, like this is affecting their livelihoods, right? So it's a fine line we need to take, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to do.
But I think didn't she has charges against her, right? I think that was dismissed though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the other guy, the black guy, didn't want to press charges.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
the charges went away,
Yeah.
and yeah, she did that. It was horrible. Like why would she be calling the cops on this guy for no reason?
Yeah.
But
She
like
that guy was a bird watcher. That's all it was.
right, he was a bird watcher. All he was trying to do was be like, and she was in the wrong. Her dog was off
Is it-
leash in the
yeah.
park. Like
Yep.
everything she did.
The guy
was
asked
wrong.
her. The guy asked her to leash the dog. That's what happened. The guy asked her to leash the dog.
Yeah.
Because it's off leash in Central Park, by the way, which is like a very popular park.
And in the area where bird
Yeah.
watchers are, where there's signs that say you need to have your dog on your
Dog
leash.
leash. Yeah.
And so she was like, she was arguing with him or something, and he's like, if you don't do it, I'm gonna have to do something myself. And so he like took dog treats out of his pocket to like
Yeah.
to give to the dog. And he says he has those because
It's not
dog
the first
people
time. It's
dog,
probably
it's not his first time, and dog
Yeah.
people hate when other people give them their dogs treats.
Yes.
So that's why he had them, and he's like, if you don't leash your dog, he's gonna come over and take my treats, and that's gonna be on you.
It's like punishing the owner.
Punishing the owner by giving the dog treats. I like that guy is so cool. Like I think that guy.
Yeah. But I think to your point though is that she got fired for doing something stupid in a sense. But is that because I mean, listen, lack of awareness, lack of I guess, or obviously her approach was wrong, 100%. Yeah. But also the part that the company fired her because of what happened, of hearing the total, you know what I mean? Is it because you think that just a liability of the image of the company that's tied to it?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's that's what happened.
Yeah.
It's funny because cops have all these stuff and then they just get put on leave. But then people like other
Yeah.
people get like anything happens and then they're
They're fired. They're
immediately
gone.
fired,
They
right?
don't have that. They don't have that protection.
They don't have that like, oh yeah, we're gonna put you on leave until we figure out what's actually going on. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was a lot of PR, right? Because
It is a lot of PR. The company had to do something about
and
it.
the people on the internet are ruthless, right? Like they see a
course.
picture of somebody and they're like, okay, now we have the picture, we can find out who she
Who it is.
is, what her
Yeah.
name is, where she works, all of her family members, and they will
Yeah.
go after everybody. And it's just ruthless. Like I don't know how to stop that. Like I think like that cyberbullying is a different story, which also needs to be addressed. But yeah, I think it might be a combination of cancel culture and internet bullying that's the problem.
Well, cyberbullying. I mean, in a version, in a way, this is kind of cyberbullying. Something you're doing this online to a certain degree because you're trying to pick something. But
I feel like
I mean,
all of cancel culture is online. So it's all like I've never seen anybody who's like on the streets trying to cancel someone else because you just don't have enough reach. Right? Like if you on the internet,
that's
you can
true.
reach way more people.
For
So
easier.
yeah, so I think this is all interconnected with cyberbullying.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know. And one of the things that I'm trying to kind of think about this in a sense. Uh, Listen, to ostracize somebody for something doing something extremely wrong, I get it. Why you want to do it, but obviously this is not going to stop from people keep doing it. The question is though, is where do we draw the line? How do we push people to stop crossing that line? You know what I mean?
We push people from stop crossing. That's
Yeah.
it's difficult. It's like how do we
Yeah.
stop cyberbullying? Hard. Like
Well, I think it's getting worse by worse every generation, to be honest. But
yeah. I think we need yeah, I don't know because we definitely need some time between when the actual incident happens and when reactions happen.
mhm.
And I think that's the biggest thing. But there's like a lot of the videos that go up and all this stuff are framed in a way to make you have some reaction. So and I don't know, like some are unedited, like the Amy Cooper thing was unedited,
Yeah.
but like just seeing it, like you have a natural reaction to it, and everybody watching it has a natural reaction. So we need a way to pause our natural immediate reaction.
It's because people want instant gratification results, though. In a sense, you know what I mean? Like they want people like,
That's
and it's for the clicks.
And I don't even know if it's clicks, right? Like I don't know if the original person is putting it out there to get
You
clicks,
don't think so?
but I think it's putting it out there to get
Notice.
this out there that this is happening. And a lot of it is just like, oh, we want to make aware that this is a problem, not necessarily like, oh, we want more clicks. I think
I feel like it's half.
Maybe.
I feel like some of it's real genuine. They want to make sure this is a weird situation, right? I think the other half is clickbait, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They look for it. I'm not saying I mean I'm not saying who's doing what, but you can't tell sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But one of the things that with this cancel culture, I guess, movement in a sense, is that it's very easy to do. It really is. You can
Yeah.
pick and it can catch on fire very quickly, very fast. And that's one of the way to go viral. I'm like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, it's true. Like it's
it's sad to say that, but it's true.
it's part of our culture now. Like
Yeah. And I wish there was a punishment for, hey, you're doing something wrong in the sense you do this, but there's not gonna be because it's part of freedom of speech.
yeah, but there should be a punishment for spreading false
hate.
hate, right? Like say you edited that video in a way that took it
Really?
completely out of context and made
It
it
happens all the time though. It happens
right?
with different
There
politicians.
should be some repercussions for that.
But again, this happens all the time in politicians, with politicians and different news, different saying. It happens even in sports, man. We see this in sports as well. All the time, sports, man. Different quotes in sports.
Give me an example of this.
Hang on. Oh, what was this? This was basketball like 2 years ago. There was a big controversy that was taken out of context. Hang on. I think it's the Russell Westbrook thing, isn't it? That's what happened. And this is one of the reasons why he hates talking to reporters. I had to look at the article.
That's true. Yeah, like reporters are kind of really bad, right? And like it's funny how the media drives narratives. So like they'll say something enough to create the narrative, even if it's not a real thing, right? Like I don't know. I feel like something like Kevin Durant going to the Warriors was like really chastised.
Yep.
But it was more that the media kept chastising every day. They kept on bringing it up, and I think something like that where things can get taken out of context, and then other people report on the bad context, and then it keeps on just spiraling
out. I'm that source of Yahoo source, and this source became like another source of that. You know what I mean? It's just
so it's just like that people are just like using. It's bad reporting, actually. It's more like there's like opinion pieces, and then bad reporting on the opinion pieces,
and they use that as a headline some of the times as a clickbait in a sense.
Yeah, and the clickbaity stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe we're gonna like at the end of all of this, all our podcasts and stuff, we're end up gonna be like, you know what, we should just cancel the internet. Just like that's it.
Isn't somebody building an internet, like a dark internet, decentralized internet that's like not that's what's called, that's not monitoring things except for censoring in a sense?
Uncensored internet?
Yeah.
I don't know. I assume that there's already dark web stuff.
That's true, but that's harder to get into though. So
I don't think it's that hard if you know where you're looking.
I'm just saying it's very hard for a common person.
It's not like a www.
No, it's not darkweb.com.
www.darkweb.com. Yeah, we don't have that.
But I'm just saying for a common person, it's very hard. Anyway, we get off track. Okay, so let's just jump into our funny MSG session. What do you have for today's?
It's just a funny little GIF.
What is it?
So let me. So funny. It's this dog who is on the computer, right? And he's like playing a game. It looks like he's playing a game. Then the human turns off the monitor, and he gets so mad he just starts banging on the keyboard and throwing the keyboard. The dog does. It's just so funny. Like he has a temper tantrum because the person turned off the monitor while he's playing on.
That's pretty funny.
And then he looks at him.
Wait, how'd you find that?
I don't know. This is on Reddit, man. Reddit has everything.
That's true. Okay, I am gonna make this video is gonna get some people mad. Maybe to call it, cancel our podcast, but whatever. I don't care at this point. it kind of suits this. This is gonna be insensitive. Like I don't care. So.
Oh my god! I'm gonna send this. You're gonna get us all canceled.
Probably.
All right.
So it's a video for those who are not watching this. It's a video of a guy teaching English vocabulary class.
Okay.
And you can play it and see
Let's
how
play
it is.
Let's play it.
Yes.
Vocabulary. Tweede.
So okay, for those who are not watching, is this guy trying to teach vocabulary class with a white whiteboard in back that spells English class vocabulary table Tuesday course in Mississippi, but the way he's spelled English is with an I, and then the way he's pronouncing it, and the way he's pronounced Mississippi.
He also said table.
Tablet. Tablet. Yes.
Tiable or something like that.
Yeah.
True day.
Yeah.
Oh my god. What do the comments say on here?
And there's a Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday. That's what it was.
For Tuesday. Yeah. And it's this guy who's supposed to be like kind of like a Southern guy. I think I got time to teach English class. That's what it is. Anyway, it's really funny though. Like
wait, this guy. I thought this guy would be like African or something. This guy is.
Oh yeah, he could be African. You're right. You're right.
This guy's in the South.
It looks like he's in the South. I get the way he dresses, perhaps.
Oh
You'd be right. You could be right. Miss PP.
Miss PP. Oh, there's
English class.
There's other ones here. Let me show you.
There are other ones.
Let me show you this.
Oh man,
Vocabulary.
Vocabulary.
Kinife.
It's a whole lesson. It's actually a whole lesson plan.
So he's saying knife, right? But it's knife.
Knife.
The next word is xylophone.
Yeah.
Ex-Walupon.
Oh my god.
It's so good, right?
Crazy. How many of these does he have?
It's a whole vocabulary lesson. That's what I'm trying to say. So
how many does he have? Oh my god.
He probably has a whole like lesson plan for this, by the way. I'm gonna share that with our group,
Oh my. This is
indignant. Oh my god.
Crazy.
It's too good, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Like we may get some hate from this, from playing this, but whatever,
But it's not. It's like, how can we get hate for this? He's saying things crazy. and he's making it like it's a class. Like he's
all right. Yeah. Anyway, that's too good, right? That was good, right?
Yeah. I want to know where this is from. It's got to be like a one part of a bigger like series, right?
Like a show. Yeah. He probably has like. I mean, you could probably look at his username. You probably find more. He probably has a YouTube video. I don't know. The Mississippi part is just hilarious. Miss E-P-P. Oh man. All right. So jumping back into I guess cancel culture in a sense. Let's talk about a little bit about adjustment, right? So if you were to adjust this, what would you want to do to adjust this? How do you want to make this, like a little bit more less extreme?
Oh yeah, you're bringing up the Hillary. We can't just rant about it. We have to have a solution, a way forward.
Yeah.
Hillary, why do you do this to us? We have to think. Make us think.
We have to think. We had to think.
No, like what I was saying before, I think we need a time period between when we like our immediate reactions versus when we figure out all the facts.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's other facts going on. For example, when the Louis C.K. thing came out, like there were like immediately like people came, like the girls came out and were saying all this stuff. And so like immediately people were like, oh man, Louis C.K. also on the list of bad people. And then later on we found out more information about each incident.
Correct.
And it's, I don't know, it's
so let's look at the fact why people love cancel culture, right? Obviously it quote unquote produces a result fast. Second of all is it kind of pushes the enemy to reveal a little bit more, but it pushes them to tell the whole story. But yes, you're right.
I didn't think about that it actually like the reason like when they're trying to cancel them, it causes the person affected to release more information because they want to correct what's being said.
I
didn't even think about that.
And then also as part of it is obviously supposed to build stronger social bonds, so that's why other girls are able to come out, things like that in a sense. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing, of course, the way cancel culture is doing things is
for sure. Like we were talking about all the bad stuff, but like it's not a bad process. Like we definitely need it because there are people that definitely need to be like we need to have awareness of some of these horrible people.
But there are just some way too extreme that's useless. It defeats the
right.
Like, it's kind of like
I feel like this is why like everyone says like people are smart, and
Yeah.
I think people are not. Like I think, or either they're not or they intentionally are dumb because
Well, a person is smart. People are technically not. You think about it. A person could be smart.
I think a person can be smart, but I don't
Yeah.
think people like a person is smart. Like I don't think like a regular like every single person is smart. Just because like there is like when you look at some of these cases,
Yeah.
it's pretty obvious that they shouldn't they shouldn't be on the same list as some of these horror.
Yeah,
Right?
because if you were to rate 1 through 10 and those incidents together, and 10 being extreme, like really bad incidents,
Hmm.
not all those incidents are 10. You know, what I mean, I understand what you're saying though.
Yeah.
But they're getting the same ramification of those results of the damages for everybody.
Yeah, and they're getting
Yeah.
looped into the same group,
Group, correct. Yeah.
and it doesn't always
So I guess a way to solve this is to be a better listener, in a sense, to be more compassionate about what actually the situation is happening. But it's hard to push that upon a culture. Maybe perhaps you can make it popular. Hey, be a better communicator, be more aware. It's like I don't
like
know.
that you'd be horrible at marketing. Like I don't think that's
I
the
know that's too boring. That's
that's
just too
the
boring.
hey everybody,
Yeah.
let's not cancel people. Like
Yeah. Let's listen first. No, I'm a horrible
let's
marketer, man.
listen
This is why I'm not that field, man. I don't market shit.
Yeah, it's I agree. Like maybe that's how to do it, but we need
No,
to
but
how do you push that onto a culture, right? How does maybe we need to bring someone on who like knows.
well, you get celebrities to you get celebrities to talk about it, right? You get people who are impacted to talk about it. Instead of being defensive about it, be actual, be more
But some of these
compassionate.
celebrities are the ones that they're trying to cancel. Like most of the people who they're trying to cancel are people well known. So like how do you get people well known that are being canceled to you want other
Yeah.
celebrities to come in and say and
To back them up in a
back
sense.
them
Hey,
up.
listen, like, understand the situation. I mean, listen, celebrity are celebrities for a reason. Their status is more what's called crystal clear. They're more up there, right? They're more transparent than the typical you and I situation, right? No one cares about us. Celebrity is more like, oh shit, I look up to somebody, right? So that's just why they're more transparent. So if you have other people who are similar level of, I guess, celebrity status that can help them back them up based on that incident, let's say with the whole Kevin Hart situation, literally, like, I mean, it's a tweet that happened like so long ago. But imagine you come out if you had the Rock come out and say, "Hey guys, listen, I get it, but at the end of the
I
day,
think there were a lot of people that came out and said stuff about it.
no, that's what
But
I'm trying to say. Like,
it
yeah, it
doesn't
helped.
help.
It helps him if it's done the right way.
Hmm. The thing is like I don't want to be trusting all of my everything that the like I don't want to put so much trust into celebrities, right? Like I feel like they got there
Yeah.
for acting or for being like
What do you mean?
they're
What
not
do you mean
always
putting?
there because they are super smart or because they know what's going on. They're just well known because of some coincidence that happened maybe, right? Like
Okay.
they're not always they're not like the experts that we should be listening to.
No, no, no. I'm not saying we should be. At the end of the
No,
day,
I understand like it's like
yeah,
it brings out more
awareness. That's all.
awareness, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
like
not. It's
I
not
have a
necessarily. Hey, we should listen to the celebrity because they're celebrities in a sense. They're not experts. I get it.
yeah, and it's just like I don't like having uh celebrities as our people to promote everything.
No, but I feel like if it's done correctly, it brings more at the right awareness with the right information, right? Because at the end of the day, celebrity is people, right? They may not have the right information as well. They may not have that, that compassionate listening skills or whatever it is. But ultimately, what I'm trying to say is that in order for for to kind of reduce of those extreme cancel culture thing is that how do you have to fight back against that, right? And I don't know. I mean, I feel like there other way about it is perhaps it's just mocking it, to be honest, mocking it, and just like South Park mocking stuff, you know.
I mean, you can market all you want. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
you can market
true.
all you want, you know. So you can do whatever you want. You can absorb it and then mock it, whatever it is.
But how do we get like because like
What is
right now I feel like there's a lot of negativity on cancel culture, but there's also like a huge
a
amount
lot
of
of positive piece that comes out of it? Yeah, I agree.
no, but there's also like if you say something bad about cancel culture, I feel like everyone agrees, or at least maybe it's our circles that like everyone's like, yeah, you're right, cancel culture sucks, but
It could be our own bubble. You're right.
it could be our bubble, and then
Yeah.
there has to be like a big a large amount of people that are for it.
Let me ask you this: the removal on Jemima from the bottle, that's kind of cool, like I guess, in a version of a cancel culture in a sense. You think that was done because to protect the brand, or do you think that's more of a PR move because people called the shit out of that?
I don't think anybody called out Aunt Jemima.
Yeah, that's the reason why it was otherwise. Why do you think they removed it?
I think
It
they
was
removed it for a PR, like a PR move.
it was a controversial, considered as a racial symbol
because it was right during the BLM stuff,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So I feel like if you have
It was companies doing positive movement, so it was positive. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it was a PR move because I don't think anybody was calling out Aunt Jemima as like oh, this is somebody that we need to we need to cancel Aunt Jemima because she was a slave or whatever. Like I don't think anybody said that. I think it was just it was a preemptive move by the company.
I mean, Quaker Oats, I believe that owns them.
Yeah. Maybe you can find something, but like honestly, like I don't think I ever heard anybody say negative things about Aunt Jemima being the face of Aunt Jemima's syrup. I've never.
Well,
heard
it was due to public outcry because of how it portrayed a racist stereotype. That's what it was. So Aunt Jemima got bought out, right? And she made a lot. I mean, that company made a lot of money. Who, you know, Quaker Oats bought them out. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that branding. You know, and the reason why well, what the cheese president, I guess, marketing says that, hey, we recognize that Aunt Jemima, you know, is considered as a racial stereotype. They're gonna, you know, remove it. But I think
Are they calling it something else, or are they just stopping production of Aunt Jemima's syrup?
I believe they just removed the face of it, and I think they did they rename it? I forgot.
Like if they don't rename it, what is the point? Like what was the whole point?
No, I think they just removed the logo, the name logo,
just the picture.
the picture. I
And
believe
they're gonna put up a different ant.
No, I think it's just blank. I don't think there's anything right now.
Like going forward, they're like right now they're probably in meetings right now. Like which ant should we put up there? Like
No, hang on. Let me
ant?
see. Let me see the one new Aunt Jemima logo, image, name. Let's see, new Aunt Jemima.
This is the old one.
Yeah, this is the old one. What's the new one?
I don't see a picture.
There's no picture. That's what I'm trying to say. They didn't add a picture back to it.
Why Aunt Jemima has been considered a racist symbol for many years. I don't know. Like, see, I don't know many. Like, maybe it's our bubble, right? Like our bubble. I don't see anybody in our bubble that's saying.
But is this a version of a cancel culture in a sense, though? Do you think?
I think it's a repercussion of cancel culture because they're trying to get ahead of
the curve.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know, but it might be that like if you're saying that people are actually upset about this, then maybe it's a reaction. But I just never heard of anybody being upset with it until they actually.
But you're right. This happened during the BLM movement. I agree. I think they called it now Pearl Milling Company now. Is it? I think that's what they did. They renamed it, I believe.
They renamed Aunt Jemima?
Yeah, I think
so. We don't even know. Like she's just erased from our history now. No more.
Isn't that crazy? They've been out there for so long, right?
Yeah.
That brand itself, you know.
I think that's wrong.
Yeah. Anyway, so I just want to bring that up though. But all right, so let me ask you.
I agree. Like and I don't know. I think a lot of it is PR. I think anything that a company does is all PR for me.
Of course.
Like, it's all PR. It's things like Dr. Seuss got canceled recently too. Or they
what happened? What happened?
They didn't cancel, but I think they preemptively they stopped production of like 5 or 6 of his books that portrayed.
What happened exactly?
They like those books portray Chinese people and black people and colored people like in a very stereotypical way.
Is that like the Space Jam 2 situation with Lola?
With Lola,
Like,
with
so what
Pepe.
happens? No, so in the Space Jam original one, they made Lola too sexy in a sense, the bunny, and then they called it out. So hey, we know with the Space Jam 2 now, we're gonna make Lola less sexy or something like that.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't think I'm gonna even watch Space Jam 2 because
It's LeBron James though. Come on, man.
one, I don't like LeBron.
I know,
James.
I know.
Two, like it's.
You said it on air.
I think he's just gonna make it worse. But yeah, no, like so Dr. Seuss, what happened is like in the books. So if you look at the illustrations and stuff, like the Chinese people that they put on there were like you look at it and you're like, oh, these guys are so stereotypical Chinese. They also talk about slant-eyed people as like as like some of his lyrics or like the words that he used.
So it's extreme. Like it's like
pretty extreme. So that there's a cancel movement where they said that they're gonna take out 5 or 6 books from their collection because of those racist.
So but I think that's the right move though for that piece. Yeah. I don't think that's a bad thing as a cancel culture.
Yeah. So like I don't think that was even canceled because I don't know of any people who were like.
Oh, really like cancer Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, I don't think there were many people.
You would think that there would be an extreme, people writing about this shit on TikTok.
It's possible, but like I said, it might be like our circles aren't involved with all this cancel stuff, right?
That's true too.
So Dr. Seuss, but like I think it was proactive because I didn't see anything.
Gotcha.
There's also like the old Disney stuff, like.
Dude, there's some Disney stuff that's like kind of
like Steamboat Willie and stuff were like they were.
Well, that's old school. They
were super old school, but they were all like very racist.
Yeah.
So.
But keep this in mind. This happened in the 60s, 70s production though. 70s, 80s production.
And that's the thing, right? Like we need to be aware of the
when
generation
was produced
that it was going towards.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff.
And who wrote it, and who at what age like that person wrote it? Keep that in mind, and how they grew up.
Yeah, and I don't think like a stereotypical portrayal is really bad in the past, right? Like cuz that was like a normal thing. Like it was a norm for them. So we shouldn't be chastising them for norms that are happening. It's like these days, it's like in 20 years if someone chastised us for watching TikToks and things like that. Like that's just part of the culture now, right? So like you can't like get upset with people for just being a part of the culture.
That's true.
But there, like we should be aware that what we're doing could be misinterpreted as something much more serious. But it's still like it's part of our culture, so you shouldn't be going back super far and being like, "Hey, this we need to cancel them because of this." Like it should be like, "Oh, hey, make this person aware," and then they can come back and say, "Hey, you know what? You're right. Like back in the day, I was wrong." Like Kevin Hart, right? Mm-hmm. He goes back and he's like, "Yeah, like now I'm looking back, like that. Those are insensitive. Like I should have said that stuff, right?" And it makes sense. But like you shouldn't be like it shouldn't be like, oh, from this point on we need to kill this guy's career because of something he said 10, 20 years ago.
So let me ask you this. What going forward in a sense, right? Obviously we know what's going to happen. Do you think the next generation after the Gen Z, you think this is going to get worse or better?
No, everything's going to get worse. I feel like I don't think I've seen a generation get more like less sensitive, right? Like I feel like
they get more sensitive. Saying
they all get more sensitive. Yeah, I don't think I've like we look at all the boomers and stuff. Those guys went through like all these wars and stuff, and they're all like went through stuff, and then we're over here like, oh, chilling, and we're like, oh, these guys, why are they such boomers? They're doing all this old school stuff, but that was their generation, right? And then so we come up into like, oh, everybody gets a trophy, right? Like that kind of a mentality, right? So like it's or super soft, and then you go on to the next generation where like, oh, it's got to be everyone gets a trophy and is celebrated, right? Like it all gets progressively like progressively more soft.
So, listen, I think I'm not. I mean, like you said before, right? I don't think cancel culture is a bad thing. I think it does help bring some positive results out of that. Obviously, there are some extreme of it, and obviously there are companies who are just trying to get ahead, just to protect themselves using a PR move from that, which is fine. That's better than not doing anything. So, like, for example, I mean, another incident happening. You remember the what's called Uncle Ben Jerry Rice thing?
It was the same
you know,
time as this
yeah,
as
same time
this
as this,
as this
yeah,
Aunt Jemima stuff.
the same time, which is fun. I get that you don't want to portray any kind of racism in a sense. So, but ultimately, though, the brand started like that, not because the company wanted. They bought that brand. You know what I mean?
Company bought the
So
brand. The
yeah. And I'm pretty sure the original Uncle Ben, I just decided to just name him after himself. His rice, whatever it is, that's how it usually works.
and here's
So
the thing, right? Like, even if like I don't know if Uncle Ben's, I don't know how these companies started, right? If Aunt
yeah,
Jemima or Uncle Ben's was actually started by those people,
yeah,
but they got paid to for their work, right? They got, even if
they
it
got
was
paid for the
just
brand. They got paid,
even if it was just to be the logo, like they got paid to be
and
the,
they didn't find themselves offensive about it. You know what I mean? Because they're the one that made it.
yeah. Well, I don't know. Like it might be that, for example, right? Like it could be
Yeah,
that Aunt Jemima, like the person who is the model for Aunt Jemima,
yeah.
didn't know what picture she was taking, was what she was taking it for, right? So it wasn't until much later where she's like, "Oh, this is being used to be the logo for Aunt Jemima,"
Well, she
right?
was trying to fight to keep the legacy, though. Right? I think.
No, no. So like, I'm not saying Aunt Jemima specifically. I'm just
Yeah,
saying like, if you're the local of a company or like that, like you might not know what you're getting into before,
yeah.
but you did get paid for that work, right? Like you get paid to be the model, you got paid for your brand if you created the brand, right? Like, and unless that original person comes back and is like, hey, they messed with me, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't see uh why this isn't.
So Nancy Green is the original, I guess, person who did like kind of like did the recipe for Aunt Jemima, and so obviously she was like born into the slavery situation back in Kentucky days, and so like this is how this brand in a sense kind of
Who's Jemima?
Aunt Jemima.
But who is she? Is that
Nancy
her?
Green.
Is that her aunt?
Nancy Green is this the character, I believe. That's the person that she's trying to persuade, like kind of, uh, like she created the Aunt Jemima recipe. That's what she did.
Yeah, but who is the actual?
With America in the midst.
Oh, the person.
Yeah,
I don't know, but that's how. But she Nancy Green's the one that found it in a sense, So yeah, there's a whole story behind it, right? In a sense, right? And so, uh, obviously, when Quakers bought, Quaker Oats ads never mentioned Nancy Green in a sense, right? But at the end of the day, when they, when obviously sold the brand, they sold, that's the whole point of kind of preserving that brand in a sense, right? So, and that's how it
I mean,
started in a
but
sense.
they once they bought it, they have the right to do what they want with it.
Correct. Yeah.
So she did sell it. She got paid for it. She might not have known what it's worth,
Yeah.
or like she didn't like. Well, they built it out after her, right? So it's yeah. I don't know. Like once it's theirs, like they have the right to do whatever they want with it.
That's true. Yeah. But anyway, all right. So we're gonna wrap up this episode with some rant. But before we do that, I do want to say one thing. I mean, I think going forward, in a sense, cancel culture, it is based on, trying to do something positive in a sense. I get that. But there's a whole criticism about the concept in a sense, because it kind of lives in somebody's opinion versus, some of the stretched facts. And so, and it could be a dangerous fire to play with if it's done incorrectly. That's for sure. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, And I mean, listen, I think didn't Dave Chappelle went through this as well because his jokes were just super extreme. He's the one that pushes a lot of the edge with his jokes. I think one of his shows,
There
like kind
was
of like,
I think there was something with Dave
yeah,
Chappelle where like somebody they were coming out and saying like he shouldn't have been saying
yeah.
certain
I think
things.
it's the Stick and Stone show. That's what it was, if I remember correctly. Went to the show back in 2019. They were trying to cancel him, quote unquote.
Hmm.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
No. So actually, let me take it back. Sorry. Dave Chappelle mocked this cancel culture as one of the theme of his show. It's Sick and Stone. That's what happened. But
Mm.
before that,
No, but it's because before he made jokes about
yes,
LGBT.
correct. Before that, back in the day, yeah,
Yeah, and then they were trying to cancel him for LGBT
yes,
stuff
yes,
when it was just that he was making jokes, and then they took offense to the jokes that he was making.
yep.
I think comedy needs to have its own separate section of.
I think that if you're going to a freaking stand-up comedy show, you better be ready to get mocked at.
Yeah, and like
Otherwise,
everything, like
don't go to
you
the stand-up
shouldn't
comedy
be
show.
taking offense to it, just because it's a joke, right? Like they're
Yeah,
not like, it's not. I don't know. It feels not real, right? Like, and especially if it's just like if it's a joke where they're taking something uh that's like a stereotype or something that's like there's some small truth and like expanding on it and like
yep.
just adding fuel to it. Like
I
I
mean,
think it's funny, right? Like it's like
I mean,
you should be taking it with that perspective where like he's making a joke, he's making things bigger than it actually is.
yeah. I mean, no one's stopping you from doing cancel culture, but you shouldn't stop people from doing jokes as well. In a sense, at the end of the day, both of them is in a sense like a form of speech, freedom of speech in a sense, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, but I mean, listen, if you go to the stand-up comedy show, you better expect some crazy shit that happens. You don't know, like just expect it. I mean, take it and whatever. If you don't like their joke, then don't move on. Like for example, I love dark humor stuff, and it can get dark really quickly, really fast.
Mike sends like the darkest dark humor stuff you've ever seen.
I don't say that in the air,
You don't say that on the air, no, but it's some of these jokes. You're like, ooh,
No, I don't
Mike
want to get
laughed
canceled
at
yet.
this.
I don't want to. I don't want to get canceled yet. Okay, I'm not famous yet. Okay.
So maybe we're okay. Maybe we're okay.
We're okay.
We're not
Anyway.
famous yet. We won't get canceled.
All right. Well, we're gonna end this episode with the rant. Robert, you want to start with your rant?
I don't know if I have a rant this week. I am gonna say like, I enjoyed like the poker stuff that I was doing before with Danny Negreanu and Doug Polk,
Uh-huh.
where I was like keeping up with it. So there's a new poker challenge that came out where Danny Negreanu and Phil Hellmuth are going to go heads up and play a heads up match
Live.
like on TV. So
Ooh.
I might start keeping everyone up to date on what's going on with that. That should start up
I think Robert, you and I
this
should go
week.
heads up live on IGTV.
Oh, I'd be down for that.
1 hour heads up live at IGTV on.
Are we gonna go? Are we gonna do high stakes as well?
High stakes in what? And you want tell tokens?
Yeah, no, high stakes for us is like 50 cents a dollar, or like 25 cents, 50 cents. These guys over here, professional poker players, are playing for like 200, 400.
Oh, wait, we get John on to do a live 1 hour challenge, poker.
Maybe we'll have John as like the commentator of like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I can't believe these
No,
guys.
he's the one who only sees both hands. We can't see both hands.
Yeah. For us, we only see each other and we're playing, and he's sitting there like, I can't believe they just made that play. Like,
Freaking noobs.
for people who don't know, John is one of our buddies who he plays poker a lot. He's
A
like
lot of poker.
he's a big poker guy.
Yeah.
So he would know all of the right moves to be making in all
And the
these
wrong moves.
and the
stupid
wrong moves, which would probably be all of our moves.
All right. So rant. No rant for you?
Oh no, I don't think so. I think my
Wow,
life
it's been a
is
peaceful
good.
week. Your life is good. Wow.
I think my life is good. I do have this pain still from snowboarding that I don't know how to get rid of.
Just
I
get a
just think
massage, man. Just
I
get a
think
massage.
I'm getting too old to be to get hurt. So I need you heard Jalen Rose, he goes on like he's on his podcast or on TV and he's like,
Yeah.
when you're old and you're in the NBA, you get to the point where you don't want to fall down because it hurts and it's like hard to get back up. So I think I'm at that point now where I'm like, man, I'm getting to the point where I shouldn't be falling down anymore. Like, this hurts.
Man, just gotta build some tolerance, man, and that's it.
I don't
Keep
know,
falling
those
down.
NBA guys, they fall down all the time, right? Like,
Yeah.
they're professional athletes and they don't want to fall down.
Listen,
So
they're playing touch basketball in NBA. You know what it is.
that's true. NBA these days is very... Oh, did you watch the All-Star game?
Some of it. What? Why?
It was like it was kind of nuts. Like, they were like, the scoring on it was
It's
crazy.
ridiculous. I agree. Yeah.
Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, they were going off.
Giannis went, 16 for 16.
Yeah, but Giannis going 16 for 16 wasn't really impressive to me.
He shot 3 3-pointers though.
Guess that's true. Like, he
Yeah.
did shoot a few threes, but most of it was
Dunks, layups,
dunks,
steals,
right?
yeah.
So like, it didn't really hit as much as like, oh, Steph Curry was going ham and Dame
Yeah.
Lillard shot the last shot from half court to
Yeah.
win the game. Like,
I mean, that team was stacked. Lillard, Steph Curry, LeBron barely played 10 minutes. Anthony Davis didn't even play. Imagine that. Anthony Davis play. You had Giannis in your team. You had Luka Doncic in your team.
yeah.
That team was stacked, man. That's what I'm saying.
I think as soon as he picked Giannis and then Steph,
That's like game over.
and then his first pick in the for the bench was Dame Lillard, you're like, this game's over.
Imagine if LeBron picked Kyrie Irving. I wonder how would react to that.
No, Durant picked him first.
Oh, Durant got the first pick.
No, Durant got the second pick.
So who got the first pick?
So LeBron chose Giannis first, and then
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine
and then Durant
LeBron
chose Kyrie.
But
which is
imagine
the worst move out of all of that, I think.
No, but I mean, were you gonna pick Steph?
I would have picked Steph over Kyrie. I guess it's bad for his team, right?
Yeah,
His
of course,
team
of course.
morale.
But that's what I'm trying to say, though. Like, at the end of the day, right? With LeBron, imagine LeBron went Kyrie first, right? And then
there's no way, because
then
LeBron is like
Durant
thinking too deep about like all
win.
this stuff.
Oh, to win, of course.
Yeah,
So that means the other team got zero money for their foundations.
no money. Yeah.
Wow.
So everyone who doesn't know, the All-Star game now, every quarter, whoever wins each quarter,
It's $150 million.
$150,000
$150
to
grand, yeah.
a charity of of their choice, right?
Yep.
So
they swept.
yeah, and LeBron's team won every round. There was no money that went to Durant's charity.
Man, that sucks. That's horrible.
Probably he put some money out himself. I don't know.
Probably. All right. My rant is I'm learning more and more about certain type of doctors that I just half-assing jobs to get paid. Like,
Doctor.
yeah. So especially doctors who I feel like, I've been listening to a lot of appointments with my dad lately and trying to, they're all on reactive mode instead of thinking that I feel like some specialists instead of thinking big picture on how this situation arise just because of this, right? Instead of, well, why this came about and what cause of it, chain reaction. But they're just trying to treat the situation right here, right away, instead of finding the chain reaction, what caused in the first place. And I feel like talking to them, and then they're like, oh, you should talk to the other specialists to make sure this is the case. And I'm like, guys, why don't you guys talk to fucking each other to figure it out if it's not? Like, it's like, I feel like because they're specialists, they're focused in their own area. They don't care what other areas happening. Or maybe it's the type of doctors I'm encountering with, And so like, let's say this doctor just only focused on seizure. They don't care how the seizure arrived. They just want to treat it for that seizure. I'm like, no, I don't want a certain specific medication just to treat a seizure because I want to know how do I prevent to get that seizure.
What's the underlying reason? Right?
Yeah.
I totally get that.
And it's like I'm dealing with 5 different specialists that it's handling isolation, and then I feel like I'm being a project manager trying to bring it together. Hey guys, can we talk about this? Like a huddle. But it's stressful because they keep pushing responsibility to each other in a sense.
I saw something where like somebody was they were saying how like specialists are looking for their specialty, right? So like if you bring an X-ray or like a CT scan to a CAT scan to a certain specialist, they'll see what they want to see, right? So you bring it to a cancer doctor, they'll see cancer. You bring it to someone else, they'll see whatever their specialty is.
Well, let me tell you this though. We brought an X-ray scan, NSC, and MRI scan for the brain, and then for a specialist to see the brain. And there's no zero signs seizure feature, and they still think it's some kind of seizure in a sense,
Yeah, like, they just see what they want to see. That's
And I don't want to
interesting.
give them a med, or they open the meds. Hey, you want to control this for now until we figure this out? I'm like, well, you guys are not figuring this out right now because you guys don't see the underlying what's causing this. Instead of trying to be preventative, they're trying to be reactive.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I know.
Maybe our and this is maybe like something that the rich people have that we don't have, right? Is maybe we
Yeah.
need
We
like
don't have a team of doctors. That's what it is. And so
we need
insurance,
no, but we need like a PM doctor, like a overall like the person who is in charge of all of our
that's supposed to be your primary
care.
care. But if your primary care sucks, they don't like. So my primary care for my dad sucks. It's horrible. I'm calling that out right now here because literally
You want to
pushes.
call him out? You want to say his
Yes,
name?
right now. No, seriously.
Cancel him right now.
I can cancel him right now. No, his name is Dr. Leon. Okay, I'm not even
Oh,
kidding. No,
Dr. Leon.
so literally, like he's at the end of the day, he's pushing the responsibility to the specialist instead of huddling all the data together from specialists to try to figure this out. He's just pushing the responsibility down in a sense, right? And I that's frustrating.
Hmm.
That's supposed to be your primary care. That's supposed to help you out, the kind of stuff, the coordinate kind of stuff like that.
Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah.
know. Maybe I guess that's why you have a primary care doctor.
Yeah.
I thought.
Like, okay, my dad has sleep apnea. It was diagnosed as studies on sleep apnea, but he refused to open a prescription to get the machine for sleep apnea until he gets that specialist to say yes to that.
That's how what happened with me too.
But again, they got the study. He went to specialist, got the study result saying this is a sleep apnea result.
And he
It's-
still didn't give the
No,
until when?
we don't know. It's like, oh, you got to do a second round of study now.
Oh,
Like, are you kidding
he
me?
asked for a second round.
Yeah, I'm like, are you serious?
Oh my god! So like my doctor, I went to the doctor and I was like, I think
Yeah.
I have like sleep apnea or something. I like snore a lot. I wake myself up, and I went to the doctor. He's like, all right, go to sleep cycle,
Yeah.
sleep study. And I just went, I did it, and he's like, yeah, you got bad sleep apnea.
Wait,
And
so did your primary care tell you that, or did your specialist tell you that?
no, because it was just a test, right? So we went to go get a
Correct.
test. So there was
Yeah.
I didn't talk to a doctor over there.
So your primary care got the results and told
Got
you,
the
hey,
results, and he was like, yeah, you have sleep
guess
apnea.
what happened? Yeah. So
Here's-
the guy's
here's
like,
a-
oh,
here's a
go
prescription
take
for
another test. The guy's like, no, go
Oh.
take another test. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Literally, the result says moderate sleep apnea. What else do you want to say?
Yeah. You should have got your dad drunk before he did the sleep apnea test, because it gets it's worse the more like if you're on alcohol,
The
your
worse
sleep
it is.
apnea gets worse, right? And so it's
But anyway, so that's my rant. I just feel like, I don't know. I mean, maybe we don't know the healthcare world enough, or maybe we just, rich people, they have a group of doctors together who talk to each other.
right,
Okay.
but they have one person who's like their main
Correct.
doctor, right? Their main.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be more like a project manager doctor,
Yeah.
and maybe we need to develop that where like we have
Maybe get an app service for that kind of
and
shit.
like and
hire
like the so like that
it's the next
doctor
business idea here, right? Probably.
so that doctor is focused on that patient, right? Like I feel like now doctors, primary cares, they have so many
There's
patients,
so many patients to deal with.
so it's hard to specialize on
So,
person's
I
care.
get complaints from my parents all the time about primary care only seeing them for 10 minutes, and I can see why. And it's literally like, it's worse for my mom. My mom is on Medicare. I feel like with Medicare people, they get paid no matter what, right? As long as they see them for 10 minutes, they get paid.
They
no
want
matter
they
what.
want to get in and out.
As many patients go in and out. So the incentive of that is that they don't hold accountable for the quality of the visits.
Yeah.
And I believe this is such an old school mentality that, I don't know. It's just me venting frustration because I see this over and over again. In a sense, I just feel like there's something here we can improve on, and I think maybe an app that forces them to improve the service, something like that. Like,
Yeah.
to make it
Mike,
transparent.
you want to do this? Like this is our this is our $1 million idea we're gonna put out to the internet right now.
We call it first dibs.
We just want a royalty. That's all.
Right.
Just a small royalty.
All right. Well, we're gonna end this episode. So, Robert, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, so everyone out there that's watching on YouTube, we want you to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, leave some comments, tell us what you think about cancel culture, or like, and any topics that you want us to discuss. Just let us know. Send us an email.
And if you want to come on, let us know, man. We want to do, obviously, more guests are welcome.
That's true. Yeah, if you want to come on, also you can come on. If you're listening on on a podcast app like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Leave us a like on there. Give us a rating and leave us some comments.
Yeah.
And we'll check all of those. Also, if you want to see all of our podcasts, you can go to our website www.gfothoughtscom.
Yep. And don't forget, please subscribe, hit the like button below. All right.
All right, y'all. See you
I'll
later.
take it easy. See ya.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Gluten-Free Organic Thoughts podcast. As always, we appreciate you. If you are watching us on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this episode, and leave us a comment. If you are listening to us, please leave us your honest review on your preferred podcast listening platform. And as always, you can find us on social media at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GFOThoughts. Drop a comment and give us some feedback. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, see you then.